Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As we all know, there are so many religions and cultures we can learn from this world. Even though from the various medias like televisions, social media, internets, and so on. Each of these religions and cultures has their own unique and identities. But when we're talking about religions, most of the people became more sensitive. Or probably the worst, they became more racist to the specific people that they hate. Why? Because of their kind of a religion. And when we're talking about one specific religion that most of the Western people think it's become a terrorist one day is Islam. And this kind of behavior called Islamophobia. What is Islamophobia, you might ask? How come of this term exists in this world? Ladies and gentlemen, today my name is Lazuardi and I'm going to talk about Islamophobia with the main ideas, the trends of Islamophobia, the bad effects of Islamophobia, and also the little history of Islamophobia. So we're going to talk about that one point at a time. So let's go to the first main idea, and that is a little history of Islamophobia. Let's get to it.
Okay, before we go to the first main idea, we need to learn more about Islamophobia. And what is the definition of Islamophobia? There are two words, Islam and phobia. Phobia is the fear, and Islam is a Muslim religion. So we can conclude that Islamophobia is the fear, hatred, or even a prejudice against the Islamic religion or Muslims generally, especially when seen as a geopolitical force, and of course, the source of terrorism. So let's go to the first main idea, and that is the little history of where Islamophobia term came from. When we're talking about Islamophobia, we know that we are talking about the fear against Islamic people. So there's a lot of terms of this Islamophobia that exists in this world. Some commentators have posited that increase in Islamophobia and exists from the 11 September attacks, where Benghazi outpost was attacked by ISIS, and also the Feb-17 soldiers. And also some of the commentators said that Islamophobia became the rise of the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, and that is where Islamophobia term came from. And also, Islamophobia became more famous because of the other terror attacks in Europe and also United States by Islamic extremists. Some have associated it with the increased presence of Muslims in the United States and also in the European Union, while others view it as a response to the emergence of global Muslim identity. So we can say that Islamophobia term became more debatable by the people or specific communities. So let's go to the second main idea, and that is Islamophobia trends. In this second main idea, the trends of Islamophobia became higher. According to Patel, Humphreys, and Naik, they claim that Islamophobia has always been present in Western countries and also their cultures. In the last 2 decades, it has become accentuated, explicit, and also extreme. But Furtefecht states that some have observed that Islamophobia has not necessarily escalated in the past decades, but that there has been increased public scrutiny of it. So according to Abdul Jalil Sajid, one of the members of the Runnymede Trust Commission on British Muslims and also Islamophobia, have existed in varying strains throughout history, and also with their own each version possessing its own distinct features, as well as similarities or adaptations from others. So we can say that Islamophobia trends has become more and more higher. So there's a lot of protests against an anti-Islamic in Poland, example, and also in America, in England, and so on. So we go to the third main idea, and that is the effects of the Islamophobia, especially in Western countries. So there are a lot of ways that Islamophobia affects in our daily life. The first one, it isn't only experienced by Muslims. Of course, Muslims are not the only who targeted by the Islamophobia racism. There's a lot of different people from different backgrounds and also different ethnic and religious minorities also encounter this kind of problem on a daily basis. So it's not just Muslims, it must be Sikhs, Asians, or even African Americans. So we can say that Islam is not the only terms that exist in this world. The second problem that we find is it is shaped by geopolitics. Of course, geopolitical events are strongly interconnected with such of event in history such as 9/11, the 2005 London bombings, and also the 2013 Woolwich incident. Don't forget about the Benghazi attack in September 12th. The next one, it ignores the diversity of Muslim communities. Of course, Islamophobia makes it appear as if the Muslim community lacks any internal diversity. The next one is different for men and women. Women and men do not experience Islamophobia in the same way, but women are more likely to experience anti-Muslim sentiment, especially if they're wearing a headscarf, hijab, or burqa. In fact, reported to Tell Mama in 2015, 61% of Islamophobia incidents are having this kind of problem. And also 75% of these victims were visibly Muslim. So of course, there's still an Islamophobia whether it's for men and women.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all from me today. Before we close this session, I would like to give you a simple quote about religion and cultural differences. By Sheikh Gulzar, there are 23 scrolls in this world. You won't be living in peace if you don't let them live in peace. That's all from me today. I hope you can get some inspiration by the topic that we were talking about today. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.